And we're live. Welcome to yet another edition of PCS Q&A. I'm your host, MJ Boyce, the Director of Community Outreach at PCS Grades. Boom! With me, as always, is the lovely Megan Harless, our resident PCS reform advocate, and oh, by the way, resident BA censored for little ears in your room because we love you. We got a great show today. It's a special holiday edition just for y'all. And we're super excited because we've got tons to give away. Deck the halls with PCS grades. Yep, that's right. I just went there. Hashtag it. Anyways, before we get on to our topic and to those official DoD updates that Megan likes to pass, we're going to go over those housekeeping items as we do every week. Here we go. First and foremost, we bring experts to you. We bring experts like Transcom. We bring experts like those education experts, moving industry professionals, insurance industry professionals, home selling, buying, all of the things that have to do with PCSing. We pretty much bring those sources to you. We have the answers. If we don't have the answers, guess what? We know who does. And if we don't know either of those things, we're going to take your questions for action and we're going to get back to you with an answer. Speaking of questions, any questions, comments, concerns, shout outs, by the way, that you want to go ahead and give us today, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below and you will be entered to win some really awesome prizes. Go big or go home is our motto over here. And so if you want to, you're not going to find out what the grand prizes are until the end. But Santa, let me tell you, we weren't on the naughty list this year. I may have been off the clock. No, I'm just kidding. But Santa said, you guys were nice, so we're hooking you up. All right. Now, sometimes we do have the answers, but sometimes you're going to have issues or challenges with your specific situations, specific to your military family or your installation or your PCS move. So in those instances, there are two forever and always resources. Number one, your local chain of command. Number two, your local transportation office. Those are the people who know you. Those are the people who are dealing with your stuff. Those are the people who could take those challenges and those issues and further them to action. Last but not least, we need to do our part, people. We need to do our part. We have to flatten the curve. We have got to flatten that curve. Wear your mask, social distance, whatever it takes. We've got to flatten the curve. Because when we flatten that curve, we're going to flatten Murphy with it. You heard me, Murphy. We are coming for you. And with that, I'm going to throw it over to Megan for those DoD updates. Megan?
Hey, everybody. So not a whole lot to really talk about today, but the big thing is that if you had not seen it yet, the DoD announced the 2021 BAH rates. They announced it yesterday. So the DoD calculator is now updated. So you can go and see, what your BAH, if it's changing, if you're getting ready to move, what your BAH is going to be when you move in. A couple of things to keep in mind is that if you're at a location, say, let's just take Fort Riley, for example. If you're at Fort Riley, you moved there this year in 2020, and say your BAH is $2,000 for 2020. In 2021, if your BAH is supposed to go down to like $1,800, your BAH will not go down. You'll be grandfathered into that 2,000 BAH clause. So your BAH will not go down. Your BAH will only go down if you PCS, if you are demoted in rank, or you have a changed independence status. Otherwise, your BAH will stay the same. Now, if 2021 BAH is greater than the 2020 BAH, then yes, you will get the 2021 BAH at the greater rate. Now, say you get promoted in 2021, what does that mean? Because that higher rank BAH is like the same or less than what our current BAH is at the lower rank. You can be grandfathered in again to keep that lower rank BAH if it's higher than what the current year is for that promoted rank at. So we're going to drop the link to that in the comments below. You can be able to go on there, put in your zip code, put in your rank, look at the with and without independent status, see what your BAH is. And we'll also drop the link to the FAQs for BAH so that way you can go back and read that verbiage as to, the what they call the protection status, the protection clause, where you're grandfathered in. So that's all I've got for now. We'll send it back to MJ.
Awesome. Thank you for those updates, especially with those new BAH rates. I got to tell you, when we first moved here to Quantico, it actually dipped by about $200, which kind of stunk at first, but it's slowly moving back up there to where I feel it should be. So great on those updates. And by the way, PCS grades is also going to be embedding those new BAH amounts in our site as well. So stand by for that. Now, on to business. We today are talking about PCSing during the holidays because guess what? It's kind of a thing. Many of us have done it. I personally PCSed right before Thanksgiving to Hawaii and the other side of the world, by the way, where I knew nobody or nothing. That was fantastic. We didn't even have a table. That was awesome. So there's a lot of challenges, but Megan here, she's going to give us the tips, tricks, and hacks and help walk us through what it's like to move during the holidays and what we can do to make it a little more smooth and maybe a little less Murphy, if you will. So first question of the day. Are you ready, Megan?
I am. Let's start it.
Okay. First of all, why are people even PCSing during the holidays? Okay, that's a thing. And what scenarios would lead up to that happening?
So PCSing through the holidays can happen for kind of any number of reasons. So first could be your report date happens right after Christmas. So we've seen a couple people, they have report dates happening, December 27th, December 29th. So if you're in that case, I mean, obviously your home's going to be packed up before that report date. Your home is probably going to be empty during Christmas. You're probably going to be in a hotel or with family during that time. So that's one of them. The other one could be that people have a report date right before Christmas. They're having to report, December 21st, 22nd. You might still be in temporary lodging then, or you may have just gotten into your home. Your stuff isn't getting delivered though until the 26th, 28th, whatever it may be. So again, you have an empty home. Also, people that may have early January report dates, and wanting to make sure their stuff is picked up, they got to go across the country of some sort. So you're PCSing through the holidays. You're kind of in that limbo transition phase where you're not quite sure what's going on in life. And in the middle of it all, we're having a holiday right there as well. So there's, depending on report dates, kind of depends on folks PCSing either before or after or in the middle of the holiday season.
That makes sense. So, of course, as we know, mission always comes first.
Yes.
Mission always comes first. Better be a good mission. Okay, so for those who are like arriving to their new duty station before the holidays, like for instance, for me, it was Thanksgiving. Specifically with Christmas, they don't have their HHGs, when they get there. What are some things that like they can do to have some of that Christmas magic if all of their Christmas decorations are still en route?
Yeah, so I've seen where a lot of people have kind of, you play it the best that you can. You try to make it as magical as you can, especially if you have children. You don't want it to feel like, it's just another day getting washed away kind of deal. So I've seen where folks have, as you all see with MJ, she's got her little Christmas tree there with her. Folks will go and pick up a little tree to have in the hotel room with them. So they've got a little bit of Christmas stuff. I've actually seen folks go out and get, the big regular size Christmas trees, they're like, we have one, but it's not here, but we got to let our kids have Christmas in this hotel somehow. So they go, they get a tree, they get some decorations, they decorate it all so they can have Christmas. Even in their empty house, they'll go, get a tree, decorate it all. So that way they can have Christmas. They can have, something there. And then I've seen a lot of folks, then take those trees and donate them to units or to other locations where they can hold on to them for next year. They'll hold it and find somebody in the hotel the following year and say, hey, let us, bring some Christmas to you. So I think that's one of the biggest things is just finding what works for your family to kind of make it, kind of joyful, have some of that cheer in your home, in your hotel, whatever it may be, get a few decorations. It doesn't have to be the big tree. Like we said, it can be MJ's little small tree. just to have a little something, especially for the children, and it becomes one of those great life stories later. Like, remember that year when when you're leaving, remember when we PCSed here and we came in at Christmas and we had nothing but our air mattresses and this little tree, and somehow Santa still delivered all these presents. So I think that's a big thing. And then speaking of presents, I know people, depending on where you're going, you might be strapped for space and suitcases and stuff. If you are able to, think about mailing stuff ahead of time. If you can get a hold of a sponsor for your next unit, that you can send some stuff to them. If you're in the middle of buying a house, I know some realtors are happy to go pick up some Amazon packages on the porch and, open the door and shove them inside for you. So think about those things too, of mailing stuff ahead of time. If you go looking at your, if you're staying with family, mailing some stuff to them, so that way there is some stuff there and you're not having to carry it all with you.
No, definitely. And just for the record, everyone, especially when you're budgeting for PCSing, you try to like keep really close track of them dollars. But honestly, this little guy here was $12 just for the tree, and then another $5 for all these little thingies right here. And my daughter just happened to have some of these little weird lights. She like just rigged it, and I can turn it on and off, like just right there. Like literally just $15, and like, hi, like this is awesome. Like I feel like, by the way, it just started snowing. Like that's crazy. That's why I have a light on.
It's your little PCS Christmas tree, and you keep it for each PCS. So it's good.
And I will tell you, for those of you, I did see somebody mention, I saw, who was that? Oh, Elizabeth. Shout out Elizabeth. We came to K-Bay in Hawaii during Christmas break as well. So you're feeling me on this. Okay. I'm a girl from Detroit, where there are only 2 seasons, winter and road construction, right? So I love my winters, at least during Christmas, and I had none. And so, we ended up actually splurging that Christmas and bought one of those big globes for the yard, where that has the little foamy things that are like a snow globe. And I sat real close to it at nighttime, and it was almost like I was transported back home without the cold, which was kind of awesome. Yeah. So I feel you, Elizabeth. So let's see here. We have a lot of great ideas, like Candy. Oh, this is a good idea. I made a Christmas tree on a burlap frame with battery operated lights, and it's easy to carry around. That's a fantastic idea. Use your network. I mean, we are full of great ideas. We are all like idea fairies. Okay. So that is awesome, Candy. So next question. So for those who are arriving at their duty station after the holidays, what tips do you have for them?
So I want to say part of this might depend on how far after the holidays you are arriving, and exactly, are you, is Christmas being spent on a plane? Are you spending it with family? Is it spent, in a truck driving from New York to California? So I think part of it kind of depends on where you're at in that phase of PCSing through the holidays. But say you had, Christmas wherever it was that you were at, with family, with friends, with neighbors before hitting the road, and you're arriving late December, early January. But you have all these extra presents now from like spending it with family. Think about mailing those ahead of time. Kids open them up, you keep a couple to play with, and then box them up and ship them to wherever you're going. Especially if you're strapped on suitcase space, if you're strapped on car space, because I don't know if you guys are like me or not, but when we PCS, like our cars are kind of filled to the brink, and so trying to shove any little something else into our vehicle does not happen. We get to the point where it's just like, I no longer care for that item because it obviously didn't make it into the car or into a box ahead of time. So it's going to a neighbor, or it's going to be a curb alert kind of deal. So if you have that ability where you can, take those presents and, ship them then to wherever it is that you're going to, would be a great thing. Another thing, I want to drop the link to this here in the comments. So this girl that I know, one of my good friends, her name's Stephanie, she created this a couple of years ago. It's Santa letters for other arrangements. and they're letters that you can kind of personalize to your needs. They're all free. You can just download it, fill it in. They were designed originally for military and first responders, and then she designed some for other folks and for other needs. But it's basically a letter from Santa that allows you, to say, hey, we're moving, or maybe your spouse is coming home from deployment on like December 27th. You don't want to celebrate Christmas. So it says, hey, what day would you like to celebrate Christmas on? And so that way, it's a way, for your child to feel like, Christmas isn't being wasted, that you're not purposely delaying Christmas. Christmas magic still happens. And so you take this letter, you mark what day it is that you need to celebrate Christmas for your special needs or whatever, and you can seal it up, put it in the mailbox, and that child will feel like, Christmas is still happening. So if Christmas has to be December 29th, they know Santa is still coming. So it's really, really great and really awesome. I'm putting it into the comments right now. Seriously, go take a look. She's got so many great different letters there for various different needs that you may have. So depending on where you're at PCSing and during this holiday season, if you need to adjust Christmas, but you don't want to ruin it for your kids in the Santa magic and the Christmas magic, take a look at these letters and say, hey, Johnny, Santa says that he knows we're moving. He knows we're PCSing. He knows we don't have our decorations. We don't have our tree, and Santa is willing to come to our new house on December 29th instead. Like, let's do that, and it makes it still so you can have Christmas. So definitely go check out the letters that Stephanie created, use them, and still make Christmas happen.
That is awesome. And you know what? Shout out to Stephanie for coming up with that. Like, that's an amazing thing. And it's specific to our, the way we live. And that's fantastic. One of the questions that my kids used to ask me was, what if Santa drops our stuff off at the wrong house and some other kid gets my stuff? And I'm like, well, I'm just saying, as long as you weren't naughty and you stay in line between now and the end of the PCS, which by the way is a great trick, perhaps he'll know. And when he would see his presents and know Cole, he would be very happy, and then he believed me, which is great because we still got to have that magic of Santa, and I got to keep him in line in progress.
Yeah, check out those letters because I was reading through them earlier today when I messaged her and said, hey, I need the link to those letters of yours and everything. They're very well done, very, you can easily tailor them to your needs, fill in the date. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm. So what about those people who might be, packing up their home right after Christmas? Like, what can they do to prepare to kind of protect their stuff? Because you know what I mean? It's right there.
So you're having Christmas and then you're opening up all these brand new things. You're getting that new Nintendo Switch, whatever it is that may be. So think about how you want those things to be transported. Some folks, because they're new things, they want to take them with them. Sometimes, depending on where you're going, you don't have the space, the room, the availability. So again, consider shipping them ahead of time. Number 2 would be, how are they going to be marked on the inventory? So some things like Legos, Barbies, new stuffed animals, like those things, not so much a big deal. But if you have, sometimes the giant Lego sets are really expensive. So they might need to be on a high value list and be individually marked. You get new electronics, the Nintendo Switch, the new, I don't even know what it is now, PS5 or the...
Oh, I cannot even keep up. I cannot.
I just know Nintendo, folks. So whatever the new system is that you get, you don't have the room to take it with you. You have to put in your household goods. 1, write down that serial number. 2, put it on the high value list. 3, make sure it is specifically written there on, the inventory, that it's there. Take pictures of it or video of it and of it getting packed and everything. So, we've seen a couple instances where Nintendo Switches have walked away. We mentioned this in a previous webinar, but Nintendo can help you kind of, find out where it gets plugged in at and turned on. And you can also set parental controls remotely through their Nintendo app or website, where you can turn the play time down to 0. So, it kind of helps you recover it a little bit. But so it's really important that you just kind of see what it is, figure out how it is you want things transported. Now, you have something big, a big, foosball table or pool table or something, and it's not something small or whatever, but you don't want to open it up yet. You want to keep it in the box until you get to your new home. Make sure on the inventory it says new in box, because if for some reason something gets broken, they may try to pass you off a cost for a used one of some sort, but make sure it says new in box, so that way something does happen, you've got that proof on the inventory that says exactly what those items are.
Yeah, and you know what, Sheila, shout out Sheila. Sheila has a good idea too, to keep a folder or envelope with you for the receipts of your new gifts. That's pretty BA. Yes, good call, Sheila. I'm loving this engagement, man. Share this with your friends. I mean, honestly, we have no bandwidth and no brain as it is during a PCS. Everything is concentrated on that to make sure that everything's protected and prepared. And sometimes we're just not thinking about this part of it, because that makes it even more crazy. So speaking of which, PCSing during the holidays, when things are already crazy, can be really stressful, especially for kids. Okay. How is it that we can make the PCS transition a little easier for them?
All right. So the first thing I would say, kind of prepare them. A lot of times, just PCSing in general can be stressful for a kid. And everybody knows their own kids and their needs and how they handle new information and big changes. For my kids, we have to start talking about things ahead of time, when we know we can't just surprise stuff on them of hey, we're moving tomorrow kind of deal, or hey, daddy's deploying tomorrow. We have to kind of notify them a little bit ahead of time, continuously talk about it, so that way it's not a surprise. So I would say, for kids that may not quite understand things, talk about it a little bit beforehand. The next thing would be, try to make it as fun as moving's not fun, y'all, but try to make it fun for the kids. So depending on where it is that you're going, if you're able to take a little road trip, I know COVID weirdness happening, but, find something fun along your route that you can do from point A to point B, that you can go and see. A little museum, a zoo, an aquarium, some cool park, some cool something or whatever. So that way it's not just a boring 9-hour drive from wherever to wherever. So find a little something that makes that transition phase a little more exciting. The next thing I'd say, talk to them about their room. Sometimes kids get really excited when they find out they're going to get a new room. If you got pictures of it from, realtor listings or whatever it may be, show it to them and talk about how they want to decorate it. Where do they want to put their bed? Depending on their ages, this could be a good time to revamp some of their decorations, pick out something new, something different. And if you're doing it during the holidays, maybe Santa can bring them something cool for their room. A new blanket, that new stuffed animal they've been asking about, some new piece of wall art that they may want to hang up. But something like that, kind of makes it a little more fun and a little more exciting for them to be PCSing through the holidays. If they're really concerned about Santa, not knowing about where they're living at, take the time and write Santa a letter and say, hey, Santa, we're moving to Nebraska. We're no longer going to be in Texas anymore. I hope you find our house. This is our address. Please don't forget, doing something like that. And then, Santa showing up, on Christmas Day, they're going to be absolutely in love with it. So kind of talk about it. And then if you need to, those Santa letters that I talked about earlier and posted the link to them, look at maybe if you need something like that, and kind of, move Christmas a little bit. To them, Christmas is Christmas whenever you wake up and say it's Christmas morning, unless they're like my kids that can, read a calendar now and count down the days and all that good stuff with growing up. But just try to find out some of those little fun, exciting things as you can to kind of, keep that joy there and to make that transition a little easier for them.
And just for the record, and I'm sure many of the people, watching have done this for their kids. I certainly have done it for mine. The Santa Tracker is another great tool, and they actually have real peeps on the phones tracking Santa through NORAD. Okay, so if you find yourself in this position, whether you're PCSing or not, whether you're in a new area or not, go ahead and give that a call. It's a great time for the kids. It's a great time for some of the parents. And you just might know somebody out there who some elf spouse who might be the one picking up the phone, just for the record. So yeah. Just a little FYI there. Wow, I'm just seeing some amazing, awesome engagement up in here. I'm really, really just very impressed with everything, all the suggestions, all of the comments. I did want to address one of them because it hit me in the feels a little bit. Who was it? It was, okay, Amber. Amber, shout out, girlfriend. PCS on Tuesday. Tuesday is the 22nd. 3 days before Christmas, right? It's so depressing to do this during the Christmas season. Okay, Amber, I get it. But I also want to throw to you that just like Megan said, like, hey, remember that time when we had to sit in a hotel room with the Charlie Brown tree? Like, wasn't that awesome? Like, it's not awesome right now. It is so not awesome for you. I want to acknowledge that. I get that. But it can also be an adventure. It can also be just a really awesome time. But please know that to make your season a little bit brighter and to make this PCS a little less depressing, I want you to hit us up at the PCS Grades Facebook page, and we'll stay in touch so that once you do have your permanent address, we're going to go ahead and send you a little Christmas cheer, okay? So Amber, just make sure that you message the page before the end of the day so that I can get with you and get that information, okay? Because it's Murphy is all up in the place, and PCSing can often be a pretty crappy situation, but it doesn't have to be, because deck the halls with PCS grades. We got your back.
Everything makes for a good story later. Some of the crappiest times that we go through and experience, like, it all makes for, wait a year or two, it all makes for a really good story. And it's going to be those memories of, remember when we PCSed and we spent Christmas, like, we had to go, to Denny's for dinner because we just arrived and didn't have groceries yet, and we slept on our air mattresses in our empty house and all that good stuff. So everything makes for a good story later. So just remember that. And then also, if you guys didn't see it, I dropped in the comments the link for the reindeer cam. So it's the North Pole reindeer cam. They set up a camera there in the barn so you can watch the reindeer. Your kids can watch the reindeer, and every now and then you'll see Santa pop in there to feed reindeer. And occasionally he'll even pull in a book and sit down and read a story. So it's just something, little fun. As we talked about the NORAD tracker, and then I see who was it? Kelly Rich here also said the Yankee Candle website has a camera set up for Santa's workshops. So it's just some fun little things you can easily pull up on your phone and show the kids, like, hey, they're making the toys and everything. They'll show up at our new home. We sent our letter, he knows we're moving, to just kind of help make it a little more fun for the kids.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And shout out Kelly for that as well. So, excuse me. In general, okay, what are some ways that families can make this time special overall and a little bit less stressful? Like, what are things that they should kind of consider just ahead of time or even in the moment? What are your thoughts?
So if you're PCSing through the holidays, if like Amber, they're moving on the 22nd, you kind of set those realistic expectations. It's not going to be that big event that it may be that you're used to or anything. So kind of have those realistic expectations. This could be the time that you just kind of take it low key. You get the little small tree, you kind of, keep a few presents, that way your children can have something to open, and you say, hey, Santa will visit us at our new home, and they'll bring the rest of the things then, things like that. So I think it's just trying to keep an eye on, keeping it simple, making just those little special little moments as we talked, just now, bringing up, letting them see the reindeer, calling the NORAD tracker. So I mean, it is hard. If you have a friend, you can go and spend it with family to spend it with. And I just want to tell folks too, I mean, like, we love on our community. So if you have a friend or somebody down the street, they're moving, you see their moving truck on the 22nd, on the 23rd, walk down there and say, hey, what are your plans for Christmas? Are you guys going to be in your home still house camping? Are you going to be going to the hotel? Are you hitting the road? If they're going to be around, invite them over, take them a plate of cookies, reach out and be that friendly face. Even if, they've lived there for the last 3 years and you absolutely have no idea who they are, just go and meet them and leave that lasting impression of the duty location that they're leaving, and saying, like, hey, we may not have hung out, for the last 3 years, but you've been a great neighbor. You never bothered us, never were annoying, never had to call the police on you, whatever it may be. Invite them over, have some Christmas dinner together, give them a plate of cookies. Just kind of make it special for them. And the same thing too, if you see that moving truck roll in on the 23rd, somebody unpacking, go be that friendly face and reach out and say, hey, welcome to the neighborhood, come have Christmas with us. Because they may not be prepared for trying to do a whole, holiday season too. It might, if they have kids and it's hard and they're struggling, I think knowing they don't have to try and figure out Christmas dinner 2 days away, might help, release some of that stress and that burden that's on them.
No, absolutely. And I just want to kind of segue, just kind of pause for a second. So Amber, we were, in addition to us, like sending you that, holiday cheer, I want to kind of, preface technology. I've seen a lot utilizing technology. We already have to do that because of COVID, right now. And I've seen a lot of like spouses doing like, crafting on a Zoom call, and they're all like decorating, they got all the same supplies. So they're decorating these, ornaments and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. I mean, no, it's not like being in person, but utilizing technology. And here's what I mean by that. By you coming on this webinar today and just listening, because you are obviously impacted by a holiday PCS, you just garnered support. Technology is a form of support. So here's a for instance, Sarah Rod, best of luck on your PCS, Amber. Sorry it's during the holidays, but you've got this. You probably don't know Sarah, and she probably doesn't know you in person, but you know each other because you're both living this life. That's how we roll. We kind of rally, right? Here's another one from Sheila. Shout out, Sheila. Amber, you got this. See, you have people, even though you're moving to an area, you may not know anyone. Technology can be amazing even when you least expect it. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that. And kudos to our fellow milspouse sisters in this house for having Amber's back.
Yes.
Okay. Before we move on to the, no, I'll get that afterwards. Last question, last comment, less concern. So recently, our girl Megan here, military wrote an article for military.com, right? Citing Christmas decorations, literally, this is a thing, as one of the top 5 things that goes missing during a move. Like, that's a thing, people. What can families do about this, and how should they be prepared?
So it's kind of weird that we would think that Christmas decorations go missing during a move, but it does happen. And this year we've seen a lot of posts in the Lost During My PCS group. It started in early November. People looking for this box of ornaments that, didn't arrive last year, or looking for a wreath box that didn't arrive. So Christmas decorations, they do go missing. So for those folks that are PCSing now during the holidays, depending on what your situation is, what your plans are, how you handle things. So my suggestion is, if you are PCSing after the holidays, or right now you're not, putting up decorations because it's all getting loaded up next Tuesday. When you arrive at your new location, take a moment, check for your decorations, open up the boxes that they should be in, and see where they're at and that they did arrive. A lot of times, we get our Christmas decorations and we just kind of shove them into a corner thinking like they're all there. Like, I don't need them for another 9-10 months. I'm not even going to bother opening them. take a moment and open them. Number one, it lets you verify that they're there. Number two, if for some reason that ceramic Christmas tree ends up broken, knock on wood, I have like 13 of them, you're able to know right then, and you're able to make the claim on it right then. Otherwise, you're going to be out of luck when you open it up 10 months later. If you are packing up your decorations after Christmas and you're not going to look at them for another 12 months after your move, again, take a minute, double check, open them up, make sure that everything is there. Also, just as your stuff is coming off of the truck, you should be checking off the inventory numbers off of your inventory sheet. This lets you know if any boxes are missing. A lot of times you realize, hey, months later, this box didn't show up. What am I supposed to do? So you need to check those inventory numbers, make sure all the boxes show up. And then, if a box doesn't show up, you know exactly what's supposed to be in it. If it was Christmas stuff, it helps you be able to make that claim right then as well. So check your inventory numbers off, open those boxes just to verify. You don't have to unpack every little thing if you don't want to. But open them up, make sure that everything arrived, make sure you have all of your boxes, make sure your inventory has them listed as Christmas ornaments, Christmas decorations, and not just Christmas, because your TSP may push back and say, well, what exactly was in here, and you're trying to figure it all out. If it says Christmas ornaments, you at least know it was a box of ornaments, and you can start trying to figure out what ornaments didn't arrive. It happens, it sucks. But check your inventory numbers and open them up to verify when they all arrive.
Awesome. And I think that Megan's going to go ahead and drop that article link in the comment section. And in addition to that, I wanted to let you know that on PCS Grade's blog, we also have a blog about kind of how to navigate, the holidays, in general, especially with COVID, whether you're flying space A, how to utilize tech, obviously less stress is best, but we don't always have control of that. What we do have control of is what we do to kind of alleviate that, which, by the way, you came to the right place if that's what you were trying to do. So I will also drop that in there. Bam. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we get to our giveaway gifts, I'm just going to get our person in the back end to start getting me all these names and calculating them. So Megan, let's talk a little bit really quick. Let's brief the audience about what we're going to do headed into the new year, because just FYI, everybody, this is our last one for the year. This is our last webinar just for the year, and we're going to start back up at the beginning of January, and we are going full throttle. We've got so much for you. So why don't you go ahead with that, Megan?
Yeah, so this is our last one for 2020. We're going to take a couple weeks break because of the holidays to kind of relax, have time with our families as well, and let you guys have time with your families. But at any point you guys have questions about PCSing, issues, problems, anything, message the Facebook page. Even though we're not doing the webinar during these next couple of weeks, we'll still be monitoring everything. Join the Lost During My PCS group, ask your questions. We'll still be there to kind of help answer and guide you guys through things. But we're going to take a break. We're going to make sure this year goes out, make sure it goes away. We're going to welcome the new year in with lots of hope that things go better and well and right, and that Murphy, takes a vacation somewhere. But at the beginning of the year, we're going to talk about the changes that are coming to the program. Every year, Transcom goes through with industry and now with military spouses, and we figure out some initiatives, some different changes to the program that we can implement to kind of help improve the process and the experience and everything. So those changes usually don't take effect until May 15th of that year. So May 15th, 2021 is when these changes would take effect. But we're going to start talking about them beginning of January. If you're PCSing this year, that way you know what to start looking for, what to prepare for, what to know what's going on. And then we're going to be talking with some realtors again. We're going to be talking with some folks about military spouse employment and PCSing with jobs and licenses and having to get, a new license in every new state, and the laws and things that are in place now to kind of help that. So we're going to take care of some of that. We're going to get Transcom back on again. We've got a couple slots lined up with them that they're going to come back on and talk about some very good, helpful information. And we're going to gear up for peak season, and see if we can make 2021 a lot better than what 2020 was.
Word. Okay. Yes. No. And I'm super excited. I'm super excited about, all of the guests that we have planned and all of the people that we're going to be bringing on, because guess what? They either live our lives or they're serving us so that we can't live our lives. Right. Yeah. Oh, Sarah Rod. Okay. Bye 2020. Let's be better 2021. Right. So
I don't even know 2021, but I already like 2021 better.
Way better. And you can look at it one way where it's like similar to how, your last duty station was the best one. No, your best duty station is the one that's coming up. Like, it's going to be awesome. And then not, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We have this perspective thing. But no matter what, no matter who you are or where you're moving to, everybody wants to see 2020 in the rear view mirror and say, deuces, we're out. Deuces, we are out. Yeah. And it's pretty comical. But no, I think we're all ready. Also, really quick before we hit on these wheel of names, I just kind of wanted to let everybody know, if you didn't already know this, PCS Grades is doing a MilFams Give Back campaign, which basically means we're going to donate $5 to the nonprofit of your choice. When you leave a review, a housing on or off base housing review on PCSgrades.com. If you do that, and you can leave more than one review, which means they will receive more than $5. Every review is worth $5. We've already had shout out Batista Project, Marla Batista. They've already garnered over 60 reviews. We've had spouse clubs. Yep, spouse clubs. As long as you're a nonprofit, military or veteran nonprofit of your choice. And we've extended it all the way to the end of the year, and we are looking to give away a couple $1,000s to these, to the organizations that serve us. So I'm going to drop that link like it's hot. Okay, up in the comment section as well. And as long as you do it before November or December 31st, yeah, I'm going back in time, right? As long as you do it before December 31st, we're going to tally those up. And we're giving away, we are seriously giving away this money I'm so excited. I can't wait to highlight them. I'm so excited. By the way, that is the link to the campaign. So if you want to leave a on or off base housing review, just go in there, choose the nonprofit that you want. Go ahead and leave a review. It'll be in our system. If you happen to have an idea for a nonprofit that might not be listed, you'll have the option to shoot us an email and we'll get it in there and boom, we'll take care of it. We'll make sure that that's allocated to them, and share it with any spouse clubs that you know, any nonprofits that you know, whatever you want. Let me see if our back end lady is ready to roll.
Great and easy way to give back. And you're kind of doing two things, giving back to the community. The first one, MJ said, it's the $5 deal to your nonprofit of choice. The second one is, you're leaving a review on PCS Grades. That way, another family that's moving into that area, they're able to go there and look and see the reviews for that neighborhood. So they can kind of figure out where it is that they're wanting to live. And now is the perfect time to do it, because starting January, February, as people are receiving those orders for summer PCSs, they're going to start doing their research and they're going to start looking for neighborhoods and looking for off post or on post. And so leaving those reviews now and knowing, that they're from another military family, is just going to be so helpful for them to figure out where it is that they do or do not want to live. And you're giving $5 to somebody, to an organization to kind of continue to help our community. So kind of win-win there for everybody.
Oh, yes, because that's how we roll at PCS Grades. Deck the halls with PCS Grades. Okay, now it's time for our wheel of names. Let me go ahead and share my brain here for just a moment. Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so the first we are giving away a Hope Design limited pearl grit necklace, and that is going to go to, can I get a drum roll, please? Drum roll. Well, looky there, Amber. Bam, just like that. Amber, when you, I'm gonna, since you're gonna be messaging us anyways, you can also expect one of the best necklaces ever to be forwarded your way. So I've got you on the list for that as well. And now, next up, we have not one, but two $50 gift cards to Amazon. We will be emailing these to you. They're e-gift cards. So the first $50 Amazon gift card goes to Sarah Raj.
Congratulations, Sarah.
Congratulations. Go ahead and I may have your email address. If I don't, go ahead and either way, send it on over. Okay. The second $50 Amazon gift card that will be sent via email is going to be Kelly Rich. Shout out,
Kelly.
Congratulations. And I do believe I have your info, Kelly, but either way, just go ahead and shoot us a message as a reminder to our PCS Grades Facebook page so that I can get with you. Super exciting because that can actually be done today. Now, let me stop sharing my brain because it is crazy. Thank you, everybody. Can I just say that this group has been amazing. You have offered support to another spouse. You probably put a smile on her face, okay? You have come up with ideas on how to make the holidays a little bit less not so great, you know, a little bit better, whether you're PCSing or you're staying in town, and how to reach out to those spouses, especially even during COVID. Megan, as always, thank you so much for all of your knowledge and dropping it like it's hot all over the place. I am so excited to have you here for another year. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Our resident, if you will. And until 2021, our friends, from us to you, Megan.
This too shall PCS.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.